To get your content in front of people in 2024, you're probably going to have to be running ads. You're going to have to really up your vulnerability factor in 2024 if you're going to try to build a community. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm pretty sure this is the first podcast episode that I've recorded in the new year. Happy 2024. And thank you for those of you. We're nearing the 7 million download mark here at the Jennifer Allwood Show. So thank you, because you guys are so faithful. You're so good at listening. You're so good at commenting. You're watching it on YouTube and leaving comments, and you're sharing it with your friends and your sister-in-law who's just started a business and your neighbor who's got a small business going. And so thank you. I appreciate you guys more than you know. So happy New Year. I'm super excited. Okay, so listen, I want to talk today about four, I don't want to say predictions because I don't love the word predictions as a believer, but not assumptions. What would be another word that I could use other than predictions? Just things that I think we're going to see, especially in the online space, in the year 2024. In case you have not heard, dun, 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 in case you haven't heard, it's an election year. That's going to turn some things, possibly just a little bit wonky in the online space. And so I'm kind of keeping that in the back of my mind as I was coming up with some thoughts that I have about the online space for the new year. So that's what I want to talk about today. And, I have been coaching online now for well over a decade. Well over 20,000 women have gone through either one of my courses or my monthly membership or my mastermind. And so, you see a lot of things, and a lot of things have changed. And some things, by the way, are cyclical, and kind of different things kind of come back around. But based on just what I have seen in, let's say, the last 6 months, the direction I see some things going, both in my own business and that of especially my mastermind clients. These are some things, I've got 5 of them that I want to talk to you about that I think that, I've got 4 of them. So sorry. I've got 4 of them that I think that we could maybe assume we're going to see in the online space this year. Okay. So number 1, let's talk about this. Courses versus memberships. All right, I'm going to give a prediction here that a lot of people are not going to possibly love, and that's okay. This is just one girl who's had a membership for going on 9 years and who has been doing courses for 10. Okay, so I think in 2024, we are going to see less people wanting to do memberships, and we're going to see more people wanting to sign up for courses. All right. Here's why. Before you give me some terrible feedback below in my YouTube channel, this is why. Okay, listen. In an election year, here's what happens. People have a tendency to just kind of want to wait and see what happens. I think that it doesn't matter what side of the aisle, by the way, that you are voting. It really doesn't. I think people just feel like, okay, could be a little bit of a crap show. I think that I'm just going to maybe hold a little tighter to my funds, or I'm not sure what this next year is going to bring. So let me just be a little bit smarter. Let me be just a little more conservative with how I'm spending money. So that doesn't really all the time mean that they don't want to put down a chunk of money. I think that right now they'd rather put down money, more money all at once on a course if they've got it in their bank account versus sign up for a membership, which is a monthly commitment, which feels long-termish to them. Does that make sense? Because see, the thing is even if it doesn't work out a certain way on paper, you've got to remember just the psychology of selling and sales and the psychology behind what makes people buy. And in a time period when, we're getting ready to go into hot and heavy into an election season, woohoo! Anybody else just oh, Lord, fix it. Can we just fix the whole election process in the United States? Anybody else up for that? Can we just change how the whole thing gets done? Can we just change the whole thing? Okay, anyway. But my personal opinion is this. Interest rates are higher. We're in an election season. If people have money in their bank account, at least in the beginning of 2024, they are going to go ahead and sign up for something that perhaps even costs a little bit more money, but that's done in 6 weeks, it's done in 8 weeks, it's over in 3 months, versus signing up for a membership that, even though they logically know that for the most part they can usually get out of, but it's like, I don't know, what is the world going to look like come October? What's it going to look like in November, December? Are interest rates going to get worse? Is the housing market going to be weird? Are we going to have more problems with the election, more than likely? And so I think people are just they're going to want to spend what they know they have today versus signing up for a membership, which means that they're not sure, what things are going to look like down the road. Okay. So don't shoot the messenger. This is what I'm seeing based on my own business. I have courses and memberships and what I'm seeing in my clients. Okay. Second thing, I think that we are going to see a lot more small businesses that are just going to have to do organic, or not organic, but going to have to do paid traffic. They're going to have to start paying for ads. I think that the unfortunate thing about that, and I'm dear friends with Adrienne Richardson, who, for all practical purposes, is just brilliant when it comes to Facebook ads. I also have a woman that's in my mastermind, Rebecca Peterson, who does Facebook ads, and we, have been talking extensively about ads in the new year. And historically, on election years, the cost of Facebook ads goes up. And so I do think that you're going to have to get your content in front of people in 2024, you're probably going to have to be running ads. But I do think, excuse me, that instead of running ads to your products, in terms of like a course or a membership that you have open, running ads to opt-ins is going to be even more and more prevalent. Because getting people onto your email list, it usually costs less when it comes to Facebook ads than what running Facebook ads to, if your course is open or I've got my mastermind open or something. The cost of getting people on an email list is less than the cost of getting people to sign up for something that you have open. Okay, with that being said, when you get them onto your email list, can I just cough and get it over with? Okay, I'm just going to cough and get it over with. Ready? And there we go. Thank you. That's a podcasting, the real 101. But I think that if you can get people onto your email list, and then you have such a higher chance of being able to sell them into your membership, sell them into your course, sell them into your consulting, and it will cost you less. Okay. I do think that organic growth is still definitely a thing. But as we all know, reach gets worse and worse and worse on every social media platform all the time, right? Even email, like we've been talking about this. Hopefully you guys know at this point that I have a software that we will be releasing to the public in Q1 of this year. But my new software, Equip 360, which is to help all the marketing you need as a small business owner with email, with texting, with website, with landing pages, with all those things. There is going to be still a place for social media growth. However, just, the reach has gotten worse. Even the reach a lot of times on our email list has gone down. And so it's possible still to grow organically. However, for those of you that are really looking for growth in this year and you need it faster than what you're doing organically, you're going to have to start running ads, and probably ads for opt-ins versus ads for your course, your membership, etc. Okay. Third prediction I have, because I couldn't come up with a better word than prediction while I was live already here on the podcast, is that I do think that the days of being able to do just a cold launch, meaning, hey guys, on a Facebook Live, my, monthly membership group, my inner circle is now open. Those days of being able to do that and getting the same amount of people to sign up as what we used to be able to, I think that those days are gone. And there's several reasons that those days are gone. Okay. I think that people, like our audience, purchasers, our buyers, they're savvier than they used to be. They're smarter than they used to be, because now they're used to different people marketing to them in the online space. So I think it's that. I think they have more of a selection of people to choose from. I mean, there's in terms of what I do in business coaching, there's thousands and thousands of us now online. And so I think that you can no longer just come out and be like, hey, on an Instagram story, I'm opening up my course, without there being something to kind of warm people up. All right. So when I'm talking about warming people up, we always call this a launch mechanism here at Team Allwood. So that means like a webinar. That means a 3-day challenge. That means a 2-hour class. That means a quick workshop, a 2-day event, like something to kind of warm people up. And it can be free or low ticket, either one. And then you sell to them. Consumers are just wanting to be warmed up. They really are. And they need to really get to know you a little bit better, especially if you're in the coaching space. I think before they're willing to sign up for something at this point. Yes, it does help if you can run ads to whatever that launch mechanism is. So, if you've got a free webinar, a 2-day event, a 3-day workshop, obviously I'd prefer you probably be running ads to your freebies, to your opt-ins, and then try to get your email list people to sign up for your free or low ticket event. But I think the days are gone of where we could just open up the doors to our membership, send out emails for 5 or 6 days and expect hundreds of signups. I do think our audience wants to be warmed up. I do think that they want an appetizer before they're signing up for the whole steak dinner. So I do think that the days of cold launching are over, and you're going to have some sort of a launch mechanism. And trust me when I say, I don't love this either. I loved it when we could just do a very non-forward facing launch, and we could just open up, our mastermind and get 10 new women in there, in a week's time. But I think those days are over, at least for this year. And so if you have something you're going to be launching in 2024, which you best, if you are in the coaching space, consulting space, if you have a membership group or a course of any kind, you're going to have to do a full-blown launch. And there is going to have to be some sort of a launch mechanism that leads up to the launch. If you're one of the ladies that is in my mastermind, we have tons of content already in the mastermind for you. Everything down to like how many emails, when, the topics, the emails, etc. So that was my prediction number 3. Prediction number 4 is that the idea of audience building is like out, and the idea of community building is really, really in. Okay, so this is what I mean. There was a period of time, I think, when so many of us were focused just on numbers. How many people follow me on Facebook? How many people follow me on Instagram? How can I get those numbers up? You guys can remember there was a period of time when people were buying followers. I was not. Actually, I did do one. I did do one stint of buying followers on Twitter, which bit me in the butt. And this was probably a good decade ago, so don't hold it against me. But I knew some other people who were doing it. I had somebody tell me, you need to buy some followers on Twitter. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so literally, if I do a tweet right now, I think I have 30,000 followers on Twitter. I'll maybe get one comment because it's so bad. So don't do that, okay? But we were really hyper-focused on numbers for a long time. But the truth is there's a huge difference between building an audience and building a community. And in the year 2024, I really want for you to be hyper-focused on building a community, not just building an audience, okay? So an audience, you may have more numbers, but it's very impersonal, all right? There's not a whole lot of engagement usually. These are not the people that are going to go from your social media to getting onto your email list to buying. So what you're wanting to do is you're really wanting to work on community building in 2024, which, by the way, is going to require some like vulnerability on your behalf. Like you're going to have to be more present on your social media, your face, your voice, the things that you believe in, the things that you stand for. Yes, as a business owner. I think it's going to be required of a lot of people in 2024, because here's what happens when you build a community versus an audience. Okay. In a community, people are going to get a sense of like identity. They're going to identify as one of you and your followers. There's a connection that happens there. People will come to your defense. It's funny, my team this morning, they sent me a screenshot off one of the Facebook ads that we have going right now for an opt-in. And somebody had asked a question about it, and they were a little bit snarky on their comment. And one of my followers immediately came to my defense and was like, said why her comment was snarky and why it shouldn't be, and what they knew about us as a team and me as a coach. And that's what happens when you build a community, honestly. If you build a community, those people are going to be the ones that actually buy from you. They're also going to be the ones that tell other people to buy from you. When I think about like my mastermind right now, we have so many women that are in there because they know somebody else that was in there that recommended it, that referred it. That's what happens when you have a community. And if you're like, I still really can't wrap my head around what you're talking about with a community, let me give you an example of a couple people online who have built a community, whether you like them or not, whether you agree with their content or not, whether you agree with their theology or not, whether you agree with their hair color or not. Like, these are just people that I want to tell you, like, regardless of what you or I think of them, they have done an exceptional job of building a community. Okay. Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift. I mean, that is a community. She's a marketing genius. Britney Spears. Britney Spears has built a phenomenal community, and people like identify, with each other and answer questions for each other in her community. It's wild to watch, really. I don't know if you follow her. I don't even think that I follow her, but on times I will see other people share her content. I'm always just shocked by the community she's built. Jen Hatmaker has an incredible online community, both on Facebook and on Instagram, which essentially means Jen can put anything in front of her audience and people are going to respond, defend, buy from her, share, etc. And so if you right now are like, crap, I've got to get better at community, let me give you just a couple of tips. Okay. So I said one of them already. You're going to have to really up your vulnerability factor in 2024 if you're going to try to build a community. You can no longer hide behind your brand. You can no longer hide behind your logo. People want to see your face and they want to hear your voice. So if you're not doing like Instagram stories, if you're not doing a reel where you're talking, you're really missing out. I promise you that you are. Yes, I know that it's scary. But the opposite of scary is your business really going down the drain in 2024 too. So there's that. Okay. There's that. We get to pick our scary. And so you're going to have to be probably more open and vulnerable than you ever have in the past if you're wanting to build a community. So they need to see you. They need to hear you. A lot of times knowing what you stand for, things other than just, your work related, which isn't to say that you should be talking about 20 different things, but if you can keep your content topics to 3 or 5 maximum, different things you discuss. So you'll notice that, yes, I talk about business on social media, but I also talk about family. I also talk about like adoption, which is a piece of family. I talk about hair loss and, Jason's our continued quest for finding him pain relief from his horrible accident. So it's like talking about things just outside of your business, but it's not going so crazy that I'm not also mentioning like my favorite pastry, recipe for wintertime. And in addition, like, just totally unrelated things. Like, keep it tight, keep 3 or 5 different topics. For some of you, this could be a season where people really need to know where you stand on some current hot topics in the world. And I know that that's scary. I'm not saying it has to be political or it has to even be religious. I'm not saying either of those things, but there are plenty of ways that you are able to let your audience know what you stand for by sharing other people's content, by sharing other people's products, etc. Okay. Second thing you really need to do if you're wanting to shift your audience into a community is to really get to know your clients even better and better and better. What is it that your clients need in this season? What's going to help them when you post? What won't help them when they post? What are their biggest fears? What are they laying awake at night worrying about? What is it that they need more than anything else? When you know your clients intimately, everything else is so much easier. And so you're going to, in order to turn like an audience into an actual community, you're going to have to really be a student of your audience. I do think that that's one of the reasons why my coaching has been, really successful over the years, is because I identify so closely with the women that I coach. I know them. I know what they lay awake at night worrying about. I know that they want to grow their business and their bank account, but not at the risk of their family or their faith. I know that their faith is important to them. I know that their family is really important to them. I know they want to grow something, but they're worried if they're going to fail. They also are worried if they're going to succeed. I know that a lot of them feel like they're, very creative brained and they're wondering if they have what it takes. A lot of them are my age-ish and they're not super techie. And so they're wondering, can they even survive in a world of social media? Like, I know my clientele. I do. And if you will really get to know your clients intimately, you have such a better opportunity of shifting an audience into a community. And last thing I wanted to talk about is really creating a space where your clients are able to interact not only just with you, but with the other people in your community as well. So this is not necessarily like an online Facebook group. How many of you know that there are a lot of people right now who are tired of online Facebook groups? Anybody know that? Anybody aware of that? And so I 100% suggest that it's not just a Facebook group. It could be a live event. In fact, I am looking as I am speaking here. One of my latest episodes is the like 3 reasons that I think you should have a live event this year. It's episode number 408. So when we're done here, if you just type in to Google Jennifer Allwood podcast, episode 408, it's 3 reasons why I think you should have a live event in the year 2024. Listen, there is something about that connecting face to face. This is why so many women love my mastermind, because we have 2 live events a year. We're together for 2.5 days. And this next time, by the way, I'm going way out on a limb. And I'm going to have, I believe we're going to be doing part of our event at my home in Arizona, the house Jason and I have out there. And so like those sorts of things, those face-to-face opportunities, those relationship build like no Zoom call ever will. And so I want you to think of how can you create a space where some of your community can really get to know you on a deeper level and connect with you on a deeper level, but also get to connect with each other on a deeper level. And if you can't do an in-person event, then maybe do a webinar or something. And yes, there's a Facebook group attached to that. But I want you to think of different ways where you can really try to get to know on a deeper level, on a much more personal level, and if possible, a face-to-face level, some of the people that are currently in your audience, because that will shift them into feeling more a part of your community. So, was this helpful, friends? Would you let me know, especially if you're watching this on YouTube, if this was helpful for you? I would love to know how you're feeling about 2024. I'm still very, very excited about the online space. I do think that there are going to be some things this year that could be different than in past years just because of the state of the economy and because it is an election year. And I think that going into it with eyes wide open and being super expectant and excited, but also just being, strategic, I think is super important. And so let me pray for you guys. I don't often do this on the podcast, but I feel like I'm supposed to right now. So I'm going to pray and then we'll just kind of see what happens after that. So Father God, I just thank you so much for, Lord, thank you for technology. It's just amazing that in the year 2024, I can be recording on 2 different platforms and there's people that take it and put it places and it goes out into the ears of thousands and thousands of people. And what a time to be alive and have a business, Lord. And so I just thank you. I thank you for my team. I thank you for these listeners, Lord. I thank you for just the way that they show up, the way that they share, Lord, the way that they interact. I thank you. I'm always just so floored and so honored to have the community that I do. And Lord, as we are starting off on 2024, I am praying, Lord, that we would be men and women who have ears to hear, eyes to see, and ears to hear that you're trying to show us for 2024, both in our business and personally, Lord. I pray that we would make the shifts that you're encouraging us to. I pray that we would be courageous enough, Lord, to make the changes in our business that we need to. Lord, I pray that we wouldn't grip so hard onto the old way that things were done, Lord, that we miss the new opportunities that are before us. Lord, I'm praying for relationships, collaborations for the women that are hearing me speak right now, Lord. I'm praying just for more, just an increase in their business, an increase in their impact and in their income, Lord. I'm praying that you would just give them the resources they need, the people that they need, the energy that they need, Lord, to run the business that you have given to them to your glory, Lord, and for your glory in 2024. And Lord, we just thank you so much in advance for that. I thank you for all these listeners, Lord. I thank you for what you're doing in them and through them. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, my friends, 2024, it's going to be a wild year. Hold on. It's going to be fun. And if this ministered to your heart today and you think you have somebody else that would enjoy it, would you just share this to a coworker, to a friend who has a business, anybody else that you know? Appreciate you so much. We'll see you next week. All right. Bye-bye. How did I do, Easton? Did I do okay? I coughed. Sorry about that. I wanted to cough more.